Jai Hind to all. My name is Vaishali Deshwal and currently I'm working as an assistant professor at Akgec, Ghaziabad. So today this presentation or this session will be about blockchain architecture design. The code for this subject is KCS 714 and the syllabus is of as per the AKTU. So today we'll discuss first unit of blockchain, that is the introduction to blockchain, and these are some of the contents, that what is blockchain, then what are the properties of blockchain, what is the importance, and what can be the different types of blockchain and how does it work, and some of the major elements in this particular ecosystem, or we can say network. So firstly, we'll discuss that what is blockchain. So blockchain is a distributed database, or it's a decentralized ecosystem. So it's a distributed database of the records of all transactions or digital events that have been executed and shared among the participating parties. And this system is very transparent because every party or it knows about the status of other party. Each transaction is verified by the majority of the participants who are present in that particular ecosystem. Now, Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency, and we can say it's the most popular example of blockchain. So it contains every single record of each transaction. This, the name blockchain technology, it comes into picture when a person named Satoshi Nakamoto, he published a paper titled of Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So it was in 2008 when the blockchain technology first came to light. Next topic is blockchain properties, or we can say characteristics or attributes of blockchain. So here we'll discuss the 5 attributes of blockchain. First is distributed. So as we have already discussed that it's a distributed ecosystem, or it is not centralized. There is no central server or central authority in this particular ecosystem. So there is a ledger, and that is distributed too, and it is shared and updated with every incoming transaction among the node. And that is the reason that when we are saying that this technology is transparent, because every party knows the status of the ledger, that what it has and what not. So it gets updated with every incoming transaction among the nodes connected to the blockchain, and all this is done in real time as there is no central server controlling the parties. So, and there is no unauthorized access. That is what we are saying, that it is secure, because every decision is taken by some of the algorithms. There is no central authority as such. There are some consensus algorithms or agreements which regulates all these things, that whether a particular transaction has to be added to the network or not. So there is no unauthorized access, and the decision is done by permissions or via cryptography techniques. Next attribute is transparency. So every node or the participant in this ecosystem, it has a copy of the data, and they have access to all the transactions data. They themselves can verify the identities without the need of any mediator. Next is consensus based. So all the relevant network participants, they must agree that a transaction is valid. When they agree that the transaction is valid, then only it will be added to the network. So consensus based is some kinds of the algorithms or the agreements, we can say, and this is achieved through the use of such algorithms, that whether a transaction has to be added or not. Next is the flexibility. So smart contracts, they plays a major role in this ecosystem, and they are the cores that can be written into the platform, and they execute automatically based on certain conditions. If those conditions satisfy, then they get executed. They are automatically they are executed. So blockchain networks, they can evolve in pace with the business process, and smart contracts plays a very important role in the blockchain technology. And that is why because of such concepts, we are saying that it is flexible. Next is the importance of blockchain, or we can say what is the need for blockchain. So here again discuss some of the points. First is transparency. So blockchain technology can offer a transparent system in which all the activities are traceable and they are visible to the public. And they're visible to the public. In industries, for example, supply chain management, where the blockchain can be used to monitor the movements of the goods and guarantee their authentication, and this can increase the trust and accountability automatically. Next point is security. So in security, blockchain relies on encryption methods. We all heard about some encrypted data, that we encrypt the data for the security purpose using some hash values or some other techniques, and then transfer the data, and at the recipient point it just deciphers that data to read the actual message. So blockchain relies on the encryption methods to protect the data and prevent tampering, and this can be particularly significant in industries like healthcare, where it's important to protect the sensitive medical data. Next is crowdfunding. So it's a practice of solidifying financial contributions from the sizable amount of the people. Means it's a practice where the money, or you can say contribution, is several, or you can say some people, they are contributing amount, usually online. So the decentralized and distributed ledger technology known as blockchain, the other name for this technology is distributed ledger technology. On the other hand, it allows safe and transparent transactions without the use of any middlemen. So as we have already discussed that there is no middleman, it's a decentralized technology, there is no need of any mediator. There are some algorithms, we are saying those algorithms are known as consensus algorithms or agreements, which regulate and maintains all these things in blockchain technology. Next attribute is data sharing. So the key component of blockchain technology is data exchange, or we can say data sharing. So all the nodes in blockchain network, they have access to the same data set, and any changes to that data, they are openly documented and made visible to all the other network users, and that is why the transparency is maintained, because whenever the transaction came into picture, then all the nodes need to verify that whether the transaction is valid or not, whether it has to be added to the network or not. Last is the micropayments. So blockchain technology has a potential to make the micropayments widespread, which could have significant ramifications for several sectors, particularly for those that sell goods online, engage in gaming and digital content, etc. Next is the smart contracts. So they plays a very important role in this technology, and these are the self-executing digital documents. They are kept on the blockchain, and whenever certain criteria are satisfied, then they just executed. So they don't require any middlemen or human involvement, because they are set up to operate autonomously when certain criteria or situations are met. So blockchain technology's key component is the smart contract, which allow private, tamper-proof and decentralized agreement execution. So these terminologies or the keywords are very important, which is provided, and these terminologies, or you can say some of the features of blockchain, they are provided by smart contracts. Next point is types of blockchain. So here generally we discuss 4 types of blockchain, as we can see in this particular diagram. So there are 2 categories. First is this permissionless, and second is permissioned. So permissionless is that where the permission is not required for doing something, and permissioned is that permission is required for doing something. So generally we discuss 4 types of the blockchain. First is public, then private, and then hybrid and consortium. We need to understand that what is the difference between all these 4 types of blockchain. For example, what is the difference between the hybrid and consortium? They are very related to each other, but there is a difference between hybrid and consortium. So we'll discuss one by one. First is public. In public, as the name suggests, that there is no central authority, and it comes under the category of permissionless. Then second is private, that there is, in private there is some authority, or there is a single authority who controls the other thing or maintains the other thing, the activities, as you can say, whether a transaction has to edit or not. Then we have hybrid. In hybrid, we can say that it's a mixture or it's a combination of public and private. And in consortium, we have a group of people who controls the activities, and it comes under permission. It comes under permissions. So first is public blockchain. We need to understand that what are some basic features of blockchain, of each blockchain, public, private, consortium, and what is the difference between all these different types of blockchain. So first is the public blockchain, and these blockchains, they are completely open to the idea of decentralization, because it is not earned by anyone. There is no restriction. So these are some of the main features of public blockchain. Anyone having internet and a computer with good hardware can participate in this public blockchain, and all the computers in network, they hold the copy of other network or block present in the network. And in this public blockchain, we can also perform verification of the transactions or records. Now, what are the advantages? Every type of the blockchain has its own advantage, disadvantages. So after reading all the features of public blockchain, we can say that it is trustable. There are algorithms to detect that there should be no fraud in the blockchain network. Then it is secure. The blockchain is large in size, as it is open to the public. There is no restriction, and it is not earned by anyone. So in a large size, there is a greater distribution of records. Then anonymous nature, it's a secure platform. Anonymous means that you're not required to reveal your name or identity in order to participate. So it's a secure platform to make your transactions properly at the same time. Next is decentralization. So there is no single platform that maintains the network. Instead, every user has a copy of the ledger, and it gets updated whenever a new information comes or a transaction comes into picture. It gets updated, which the copy of the ledger is held by every party which is participating in the network. So these are some of the disadvantages of public blockchain. First is processing, second is energy consumption, and third is acceptance. So first is processing, means the rate of transaction process is very slow. Why? Because of the large size, and the verification process is quite time consuming. So this is also one of the disadvantages, and it's quite obvious because this public blockchain is open to all. There's no restriction. So due to the large size, the processing is time consuming. Next is energy consumption. So proof of work is high energy consuming, and it requires good computer hardware to participate in the network. Last is acceptance. So there is no central authority is there. So the government is facing some issues in implementing this technology faster, because no one is responsible for this. Next is use cases, that where, or you can say applications where it can be used. So public blockchain is secured with proof of work or proof of stack. When I'm saying that proof of work or proof of stack, these are nothing. These are this consensus algorithm, which we will discuss at the end of this particular unit 1. So there are many consensus algorithm, proof of work. They have their own architecture, working, and the components. So we need to understand the working of these algorithms. So for now, just understand that these are the consensus algorithm, and the blockchain is secured with these type of algorithms only. So they can be used to displace the traditional financial systems. And the more advanced side of this blockchain is the smart contracts that enable this blockchain to support decentralization. For example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, these are the public blockchains. Next, we have private blockchain. So in private blockchain, these blockchains, they're not as decentralized as the public blockchain. only selected nodes can participate in the process and making it more secure than the others. So they are not as decentralized as the public blockchain. They're not as open as the public blockchain, obviously. Then the second point is that they are open to some authorized users only. They're not open to the public. There are some nodes, some users, those are categorized as that these are the authorized, and this type of network, they are open to those only. So these blockchains, they're operated in closed network, and in this only few people they're allowed to participate in the network. Again, we'll discuss the advantage of this. So first is speed. Speed is because of its small size, the verification of node is less time consuming as compared to public blockchain. Next is scalability. So we can modify the scalability. Scalability means as the size goes up, so the blockchain can handle that. So this private blockchain can handle that. So the size of network can be decided manually, that okay, we need to include only 4 nodes, we need to include only 6 nodes, that's not. Next is privacy. So it has increased the level of privacy as it has small size, and we can also modify the scalability. So it increased the level of privacy for confidentiality as a business required. Next is more balanced, as only some users are authorized for this, or they have the access to this particular network. These are some of the disadvantages. First is security, then centralized, and then count. Security is that the number of nodes in this type is limited, so the chance of manipulations are there. These blockchains, they are more vulnerable in comparison to the public one, because in private blockchains only the limited numbers of nodes are allowed, and if one node, any organization can use this for malpractice, we can say. So there are more chances of manipulation. Trust building is also one of the major disadvantage, because the organization can use this for the malpractice, or any of the party or the node can use it for the malpractice. Then count, since there are few nodes, so if nodes go offline, the entire system of this particular blockchain can be endangered. What are the use cases? So with proper security and maintenance, this blockchain is a great asset to secure the information, and some of the companies use them for asset management, for voting, for internal audit. And these are some of the examples. This is the Hyperledger and Coda. So Hyperledger is something which is given in unit 3rd, and we'll discuss Hyperledger there, that what is it and what is the architecture, what are the components, what are the working flow, transaction workflow of the Hyperledger, and all of the stuff there. Next is the hybrid blockchain. So it's a combination of the private and public blockchain, where some part is controlled by the organization and the other makes some other parts are made visible as a public blockchain. So when we require something like where we want some part, that this should be the part and should be controlled by some organization, and there should be some part which should be visible as a public blockchain, then we can use this hybrid blockchain. So it's a combination of the two, and the permission based, we can say that it is permission based also, it is permissionless also. For some part we require permission, for some part we don't. And user access information via smart contracts. Smart contracts are the digital documents which executes automatically when certain conditions met. And even a primary entity earns a hybrid blockchain, it cannot alter the transactions. These are some of the advantages. Ecosystem, cost, architecture, operations. Ecosystem is that it is hybrid in nature, so it cannot be hacked, as 51% of the users don't have access to the network. Some part is accessible, some is not. Then cost, transactions are cheap as only few nodes verify the transactions, and all the nodes, they don't carry the verification, hence less computational cost in this. Architecture means it is customizable. If you want to include some nodes, then you can. If you want to remove some, then you can. So still you are having some control and still maintains the integrity and transparent security when it is highly customizable. So these are some of the important things which need to be ensured that they are in the blockchain system: integrity, security, and transparency. Next is the operation. So it can choose the participants in the blockchain and decide that which part or which transaction can be made public. So it's up to the person. Next is the disadvantage. So efficiency, transparency, and ecosystem. Efficiency is that not everyone is in the position to implement a hybrid blockchain, and the organization also faces some difficulty in terms of efficiency in maintenance. Then transparency, that there is a possibility that someone can hide the information from the user, and if someone wants to get access to the hybrid blockchain, then it depends on the organization whether they will give or not. So the transparency problem is there. Then ecosystem, due to its closed ecosystem, this blockchain lacks some incentives for the network participations. So these are some of the major disadvantages in this particular hybrid blockchain. Next is the use case. So it can be used in the government, then financial companies, for the government purpose, for healthcare industries, for the real estates, etc. And some of the examples are this Ripple network and XRP token. So these are some of the examples which uses hybrid blockchain. Next is the consortium blockchain, and this is the last type of the blockchain. So it's a creative approach that solves the need of organization. This blockchain validates the transactions and also initiates and receives the transactions. It is also known as federated blockchain. So the other name for the consortium is federated, and there is no innovative method to solve the organization's need. Some part is public again, and some part is private, as it comes under the permission one. So for some part we need permission, for some part we don't. In this type, more than one organization manages the blockchain. So this is the major difference, that there is a group of people who manage the blockchain. These are some of the advantages: speed, authority, privacy, and flexibility. So speed is the limited number of users, they make verifications very fast, and the high speed makes this more usable for organizations. Second is authority. So multiple organizations can take part and make it decentralized at every level, and this is the reason that which makes it more secure. Next is privacy. So the information of the checked blocks is unknown to the public view, but any member belonging to the blockchain can access it. And next is the flexibility. So this is a much divergence in the flexibility of the blockchain, since it is not a very large decision which can be taken faster. So these are some of the advantages of the consortium blockchain. Next, we have the disadvantages: approval, transparency, and vulnerability. These are some of the general demerits of consortium. So first is approval. All the members approve the protocol and making it less flexible. Since one or more organizations are involved, there can be differences in the vision of interest. And next is transparency. So it can be hacked if the organizations become corrupt. And next is vulnerability. If few nodes are getting compromised, then there is a chance of vulnerability in this blockchain. Now, what is the main difference between the hybrid blockchain and the consortium blockchain? So as we have already discussed, that the hybrid blockchain is a combination of the public and the private, and the consortium blockchain is something which is controlled by a group of people. So what could be the major difference? Major difference is that the consortium blockchain is a type of hybrid blockchain with multiple organizations in charge. Okay, because in the consortium blockchains, many organizations are involved, while a hybrid blockchain can have a single entity as a network administrator. So this is the main difference between the hybrid and the consortium blockchain. So this is it for today, and in the next session we'll discuss that how does it work and what can be some of the major elements in the blockchain ecosystem. Okay, thank you.